Hi there. So I already have my tips picked out. I'm going to be using a medium stiletto shape today, and I'm going to get started by prepping them because you also have to prep your extensions to make sure that they last. So I'm grabbing a sanding band and then I'm going to file the inside of the extension and create some texture with my sanding band. I'm taking my drill and going up to the point where my natural nails would stop to make sure it's nice and etched. I like to prep the inside of the nails first because as you can see here, it's going to kick up dust. You don't want your nails to be sticky with primer while you're putting dust everywhere because then you'll just have to start your natural nail prep over. So it's best to just do this first and get it out of the way. So I'm going to go ahead and do this to each of the nails. And then when you're done, it should look just like this. So now we have these extensions nice and prepped. We can move on to prepping our natural nails. This is my updated routine because I want to show you how important this is when it comes to having gel extensions that actually last at least 2 weeks, right? So first things first, I am taking some cuticle remover and I'm placing this all over the cuticle area. And then I'm going to let it sit for a few seconds to give it some time to work. And then I'm going to take my cuticle pusher tool and begin gently pushing back the cuticles. This is so important because if you were to leave the dead skin sitting on the nail plate and then turn around and glue on your extensions, the extensions are actually going to begin to lift because they're not sitting on your nail plate. They're sitting on dead skin. So you want to make sure that you push those cuticles back to expose your full nail plate. So next I'm going to shape and file my nails. As you can see here, each finger has a complete different shape. And honestly, I am just going to leave them as they are and then let them grow out. I'm not super pressed to select a shape right now. So what I'm just going to do is clean everything up. You see my thumb's a square. The rest of the fingers are round. I'm just going to leave them as they are. And then when they grow out, I will make a decision on what shape I want them to be and then go from there. So once I'm done shaping and filing, I'm then going to run to the bathroom to wash my hands. So next I'm going to go in with some dehydrator and primer and then place this on my natural nails. And I'm really excited because this was sent over to me from Modelones. And if you have watched some of my very first videos, you know that I've been using this product from the very beginning. And it is truly one of my favorite affordable primer and dehydrator sets that I've used so far. So if you are not familiar with this set or even what dehydrator or primer is, I am going to explain it really quickly. So in each set, you do get 2 separate bottles. They are not one product that's mixed together, so you do have to apply them separately. So your dehydrator comes in the bottle that's on the left in that orange wrapping. What this does is remove all the natural oils from your nail plate, and then your primer is going to help everything adhere to your nail. So first I am going to apply the dehydrator, and you can see here the moment I apply it, my nails start to lose whatever natural oils is left. My natural nails are actually just quite dry on their own, so I only apply 1 coat of this, but if you have very oily nails, you can easily apply a second layer of dehydrator because you want to make sure that there's no oil in sight. If you leave your natural oils on your nail plate, the extensions are going to lift and come off a lot sooner than they should. Once that's all applied, I am going to go in next with the primer and place that on each of the nails. The primer is meant to dry down sticky, so after it's applied, you do want to wait a few seconds so that it starts to give you that nice sticky texture. Now that the primer is nice and dry, I am going to take this gel glue and apply a thin layer of this to each of my nails. The gel glue is done curing on my natural nails, and now I'm going to begin applying my gel extensions. So what I'm doing here is just taking that exact same gel glue I just used and placing that on the inside of the extension. Once the glue hits the very top of my natural nail, I am going to throw my hand under a small flash cure lamp and then wait for about 15 seconds. Another key to making your gel extensions last is to make sure the cuticle area is nice and sealed. When I say seal the cuticles, what I mean is making sure that the extension is sitting flush onto your natural nail, because if it's not, the extension will start to lift and pop off, but it can also cause mold and things to grow under there because everyone pretty much is taking showers and washing their hands very frequently during their day, and you don't want water trapped under there. So I'm actually going to be taking a drill in my 5-in-1 bit from Pana and gently going around the edges. If you don't want to use a drill, that's fine. You can actually seal your cuticles with acetone in a flat brush. All right, so we're done with prepping our natural nails and the extension. So now it's time for some nail art. I have this kit here from Modelones that was also sent over to me. And this kit has 32 total pieces in it, but only 28 of them are actually colored gel polishes. The other 4 bottles are what I like to call essentials. So you get your nail primer, you get a base coat, a matte top coat, and then a shiny top coat. So you have pretty much what you needed to get started actually painting your nails if you wanted to use gel polish. For this look today, I am going to choose a few different colors. I'm going to use some light pink. I'm going to grab this red here and then a beige. And then we're going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so let me explain the nail look here because it may not be that obvious in the thumbnail, but what I'm doing is going to be creating a layered marble nail. So to do that, I'm going to lay down my base coat first so that we have a sticky layer, but I'm actually not going to cure this just yet. Next, I'm going to be grabbing some gold leaf and placing that into the wet base coat. And this is going to be our first layer because I want the gold leaf to look like it's encapsulated, but I don't want to use builder gel to do that. Builder gel takes a little bit more time. Honestly, I just didn't feel like working with builder gel today. It's not super hard to work with, but I just didn't want to, if I'm being honest. So I'm gonna actually try this method for the first time. And obviously I'm doing a voiceover, so I can say that it actually worked okay. There are little nuances that I will of course share as I'm going through the process. To apply the gold leaf, I am gonna be taking these slanted tweezers and I'm just laying the gold leaf in random spots in the nail. I have no design in mind. With this, you really can lay it how you want to. If you want them to go in a curve, you can do that. If you want them to sit in like this one spot, you can do that too. It's really up to you. And if you want the gold leaf to look a little bit more sparse, all you have to do is take your tweezers and break the gold leaf apart as it's on your nail, because the gold leaf actually comes in a container and they're in little pieces that are going to vary in size. So you can manipulate it however you want to. So now my gold leaf is all applied. I'm going to be taking this silicone tool and I'm going to press the gold leaf into that gel base coat because I want it to be as flat as possible so it isn't creating some unnecessary texture. This is not a foolproof way to make the gold leaf flat, and I'll show you what to do next after this, but it is a good start. And then I'm going to take a buffing block and buff over the gold leaf to get it to be more flat. I did my right hand off camera and I skipped this step, and there's a little bit more texture than I personally wanted. So this is very important. You want to make sure that gold leaf is nice and flat. Unless you actually want to feel the gold leaf ridges throughout your day, fine by me, but I didn't. So I'm going to buff it out. And then once you get done buffing it, it should feel like a smooth surface so that when you go in with your top coat, everything is just nice and smooth. Once I'm done buffing the surface, I am going to take some alcohol and wipe the dust away. Because we did lay the gold leaf into a base coat, it's still kind of sticky. Once I'm done with that step, I am going to take a top coat now and apply that to each of the nails because I want to seal that gold leaf in so it has its own individual layer and nothing else is interrupting it. So now we're going to do a 60-second cure. And then here are what the nails are looking like. So as you know, in all of my videos, I like to show you in different places you can stop in case you don't want to do the full-blown design. And here is where you can ultimately stop. And this is actually really cool to have the nails clear with the gold leaf because it looks like glass and it would be some place that I would be willing to stop. So I thought I would share that with you. So now it's time to start the marbling process. And what I'm going to do first is just take all my colors that I'll be using and laying them down on a palette. For this design, you can actually use whatever color combo you want. I just chose to stick with pinks and purples because we're coming up on Valentine's Day and I wanted to get in the spirit. The only thing I have to say about choosing your colors is you want to make sure you have a range from light to dark. So make sure you have at least 3 core colors. I chose 2 light pinks and then I chose the purplish shade that's going to be my darker color. And then you want to make sure that you have a white or a beige because that is going to be the color you use to draw the lines to create that marble-like effect. After I have my colors laid down, I'm going to lay some base coat under each one of them because I'm going to be using the base coat as a blooming gel. I do have a video on this where I show you how this works like blooming gel. You can check that out here, but I'm going to be using that exact same method that I used in this video. So what you would do is take your color and mix it into that base coat, and then you would lay it on the nail. So once it's laying on the nail, you'll notice the color will start to spread a little bit, but it's going to spread quite slow. When you use blooming gel, the color spreads a little bit faster than this method, but I like to use base coat instead because you have a little bit more time to manipulate the color before it's bloomed out in full capacity. So as I apply the gel, I'm actually going to start with the lightest color in that combo. So this was a really light, pretty pink, and I'm going to gently tap this on to the nail. You can place your colors in any place that you want. It's just your time to shine. I chose to just kind of place them wherever my mind said to go. I had no direction here. I just wanted to kind of zone out and have fun. And this is what I really like about marbling designs because you really don't have to think too much. You just do it. Once I have my colors laid down, I will admit that the first 2 pinks do look very similar in color, and that's fine by me. But I'm going to be taking that darker shade, which is like actually a jelly purple, and I'm going to make random outlines because I want to give it what we call dimension. So I'm just going to continue this process and do it for each of the nails. I am going to only work on one nail at a time. If you are not indecisive like I am, once you do one nail, I recommend flash curing it. However, I'm very indecisive, so I didn't flash cure it because I thought I would change my mind, and I kind of did. I went back and forth a couple of times to make them look more unison, but if you're not like me, completely flash cure it so your design isn't moving. The longer you let the color just sit on the nail, it's just going to bloom out even more. So that's why I was comfortable with letting it sit. So I'm done with the marbling, and it's really funny because I remember doing this design and thinking, I hate what this is looking like. Like, what is happening? It looks insane. But this design literally is a trust the process type design. You cannot make any judgments until you are fully done because it looks crazy up until the end. It was wild. I was really having a brain fluctuation, like, I'm gonna take this off. No, I'm gonna see it through. No, I'm gonna take it out. And I was just going back and forth. And I'm glad I did see it through because the end result was so worth it. So the next part of this design is to create some, I don't even know how to explain it, but basically what I'm doing is mixing my white polish with some alcohol. When you add the alcohol to the gel polish, it thins out the color a little bit, but it also gives a similar effect to, I think it's called alcohol inks. And it isn't completely the exact same. Alcohol inks would definitely be better to work with in this case, but it does give a similar like effect. And it gave me the look I was going for. So I'm just going to gently pat this into random spots of the nail. Once I have that white all laid down, I am going to take a buffing block and I'm going to remove the shine because I want this layer to be matte before I go in and draw some lines. So next up, I am going to take some of that white polish from before in a thin liner brush and begin drawing some lines on the nail. And what I'm trying to do is achieve the look of true marble up here, obviously not with the colors that's back there, but you see how marble has those little lines and they look a little bit like cracks, but they're not truly cracks. That's what I'm trying to achieve here. And the best part about drawing these lines is you actually want your hand to not be that stable because you want the lines to just look random. They don't need to be super straight. Like they have some character to them, I guess you can say. So that's the best part. Don't think too much into this. Just create random lines, make them a little squiggly, make your hand shake a little bit, which is what I'm doing here. Since I don't want these lines to be the center of attention, I'm going to be taking a flat brush and some alcohol and blending them out just a little bit. And to do this, all you would do is just take the brush up into the line and then move the polish in a downward motion to make it look like it's blended out a bit. If you overblend, which I did here, you would just take some more of that white polish and then add a little bit here and there if you need it. I'm all done here. I am going to cure it for 60 seconds and then I am going to take a buffing block again to create a matte surface since I will be working with chrome. When you matte out the base color before applying chrome, it helps prevent the chrome from sticking to areas that you don't want it to. You can apply a matte top coat, but all matte top coats are not equal when it comes to working with chrome. Some matte top coats still stick to the chrome. So for me, I don't want to guess if the matte top coat is going to work because it's going to be too late. So I know no matter what that the buffing block always works for me. So that's what I'm going to do. We are definitely not done here. I'm going to be creating some gold outlines around the nail. And to do that, I'm going to be taking the Macart rhinestone glue and I'm going to mix it in with white polish. You do not have to mix the rhinestone glue with any color. You could just lay it down as is. The only thing is it's clear, so you can't really see on camera how I'm laying it down. But if you're at home, you don't have to do this. So for this, you don't have to make your lines super straight. I'm actually only going to make them kind of straight around the cuticle area so that they don't grow out super weird. But once I get to the sides of the nail, I'm actually going to make the lines kind of zigzag, have little pockets because I want to create some texture for the chrome to give it a more unique look. I'm all done with my outline, so I'm going to cure this in my lamp for 60 seconds and then begin applying some gold chrome. For this video, I will be applying the chrome with a silicone tool, and I'm just going over the areas where the white outline is. If there are any areas you happen to miss with the chrome, just take your silicone tool or whatever tool you're using again and apply additional chrome in a circular motion. What that will do is kind of buff it in a little bit so that you don't have to completely wipe off the nail and start over. Towards the end, I did apply the chrome kind of messy, so I can show you what to do if you get chrome in areas you don't want it. Since we used a buffing block to matte the surface, the chrome doesn't stick to the base layer. So to start off, you would just take a big brush and brush the excess chrome away. But if you have areas that the brush is just not picking up the particles of chrome and it's just getting stuck, or you just want to clean up some lines, you can take either acetone or alcohol and remove the excess chrome out of the areas you don't want it. So I'm done with the cleanup process. Finally, it is time to apply top coat. So what I'm doing is actually tapping the top coat on top of the chrome first, because if you just apply the top coat like you normally would on top of the nail, it's going to drag that chrome literally everywhere. So I like to just pat this in first to give the chrome its own kind of top coat layer. And then as it's wet, I will apply my top coat like normal. And look, okay, I know I told you all to trust the process. When you apply top coat, you can really see everything come through. And it's like, this is the moment we were waiting for because it was looking real suspect during the early parts of the process. But it's so satisfying. So now we're going to cure in the lamp for 60 seconds, and then we're going to do our final reveal. Here are what the nails look like in complete natural lighting. This look, when I tell you, was such a trust the process. I've never been so like perplexed while doing a nail design, but it was really fun to do. So if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and let me know. And if you have any questions, or if you just have to say anything, go ahead and leave a comment down below. But in the meantime, I will be seeing you in this video here.